South Park just exposed Harry and Meghan's latest public drama. And this time, it all went down at a charity event. At a Santa Barbara fundraiser hosted by Kevin Costner, the couple showed up ready for photo ops, posing with firefighters, shaking hands with the mayor, and even handing out cookies incognito. Except for the fact it was all broadcast on live TV. The setup looked perfect, but in true South Park style, things quickly spiraled into chaos. What was supposed to be a calm charity event turned into a parody of public image, ego clashes, and the world's most awkward royal fight. So what exactly did South Park reveal about Harry and Meghan's charity night? How did a photo-friendly evening of good deeds turn into a meltdown that has fans and critics laughing out loud? And most importantly, why does it feel like every Sussex appearance ends up as a meme? Let's find out.
I'm sick of hearing about them, but I can't get away from them. They're everywhere, in my face.
Look, Kyle, we just kind of don't care about some dumb princess.
If we talk about South Park's favorite target, Harry and Meghan are right up there at the top of the list. The couple has been roasted in multiple episodes, mocked for everything from their privacy tour to Meghan's obsession with branding and Harry's desperate attempts to look relevant. And just when people thought the jokes couldn't get harsher, real life handed South Park new material on a silver platter. A video of Harry and Meghan at a charity event popped up online, and what should have been a polished, heartfelt night turned into the kind of awkward spectacle you'd expect the show's writers to dream up after a few beers.
That's right! And now you wrote a book that reports on the lives of the royal family. Right! So you're a journalist. We just want to be normal people. All this attention is so hard.
It all started with a big announcement, the kind of moment where the crowd quiets down and everyone leans in. Out walks Harry, upbeat and smiling, microphone in hand, ready to give his speech. He doesn't even look back, as if he's finally stepping into the spotlight alone. "Hey everyone," he says with confidence. Like this is his big night to remind the world he's still a prince. But then, right behind him, Meghan slips on stage. She's smiling, waving, completely ignoring the fact that she wasn't on the schedule. The organizers are caught off guard. The timing feels wrong, and the whole thing instantly turns weird. Harry's face says it all. His eyes go wide, his voice cracks, and he stammers. Hi. It's the kind of awkwardness you don't expect between a husband and wife. It looks more like he bumped into a stranger at the coffee shop than welcomed his partner to the stage. South Park would have exaggerated this moment perfectly. Butters would widen his eyes and whisper, "Man, he looked at her like she just stole his donut." Cartman would fall to the ground laughing, choking out, "That's it! Divorce on principle." And honestly, the way Harry froze up, you can almost hear the cartoon laugh track in the background. Meghan.
Why are we so mad today? Because we want our privacy.
Park County Police Station, what's your emergency?
Yeah, the neighbors across the street are setting off fireworks, and it's 10:30 at night.
Oh, is it the Prince of Canada and his wife who just want to be left alone?
Yes, they're being super loud, and I'm trying to work on my brand.
Meghan, meanwhile, stood stiffly, plastering on her best smile. She reached toward the microphone, clearly expecting Harry to hand it over and let her say a few words. Maybe she thought he'd announce her with something grand like, "Here's my wonderful wife, the star of the night." But Harry kept right on talking, completely ignoring her presence. The mic stayed with him, and after a long, painful pause, Meghan dropped her hand, gave up, and walked off stage. Harry carried on like nothing had happened, as if the plan was always for him to stand alone. It wasn't just awkward, it was telling. That moment showed exactly where their marriage might be heading. Harry looked wrapped up in himself, determined to rebuild his image as the serious, heroic prince. Meghan, on the other hand, was standing there with that tight smile, clearly thinking she should be the star. South Park would have jumped in with Randy Marsh sighing, taking a swig of beer and saying, "Ignored your wife in public, Harry. Nice one. Better get ready. You've got a 3-hour fight waiting at home." Okay.
I think my time as a masseur is over. I guess I broke his neck. Is that a thing?
Yes!
What about your ketchup company?
That was a dumb idea.
Can you get another show? I mean, not one that you act on, darling. I know people don't want to hire you for that anymore.
Okays aside, the clip revealed something deeper. Right now, Harry seems focused on acting like a philanthropist, reminding the public he's more than the guy who ran off to California. He wants to look like the prince who cares about real issues, who's out there making a difference. And that doesn't leave much room for Meghan, whose name has become more and more tied to negativity. Failed projects, bad press, endless scandals, it all sticks to her. And Harry knows it. That's why, on stage, he didn't even try to include her. In that moment, he was presenting himself alone. As Cartman would say with an eye roll, "Looks like the guy's going solo. Can't wait for his debut album."
Damn it, now the prince is playing polo on the lawn.
We are here because privacy is a basic human right. How many more princes and his wives have to live in this nightmare?
And here's where things get really interesting. This wasn't just an awkward stage moment. It felt like a trailer for their marriage. The more they try to sell themselves as the perfect couple, the more obvious it is they're not. A husband who really wanted to show unity wouldn't leave his wife hanging in front of a crowd. And a wife confident in her role would have stood by his side instead of walking off in frustration. Meghan made it clear she's not content to play backup. She wants equal billing. But Harry's the one with the royal status, and he's starting to push her aside. The tension between those roles is now playing out in public, and it's hard not to see it as a preview of what's coming next. Kyle would have summed it up with a smirk. If that was the trailer, then the premiere of Sussex Divorce isn't far off.
That's right. And now you wrote a book that reports on the lives of the royal family. Right. So you're a journalist. We just want to be normal people. All this attention is so hard. Isn't it true, sir, that your questionable wife has her own TV show and hangs out with celebrities and does fashion magazines? What are you suggesting? Well, I just think some people might say that your Instagram-loving wife actually doesn't want her privacy.
And when you look at Meghan's long string of flops, it's easier to see why Harry might be distancing himself. Take her big project, the lifestyle brand American Riviera Orchard. Meghan hyped it up as her legendary new empire, a way to show her real lifestyle and authenticity, something she claimed was a new gold standard. But when the products were revealed, the whole thing looked like a random grocery shelf. There was a bottle of rosé, some pancake mix, cake sprinkles, a few jars of jam, and the big seasonal release, a plain jar of marmalade. Meghan presented it like it was some groundbreaking signature fruit spread. The obvious question everyone asked was, who's buying this stuff? In Meghan's mind, the answer was clear. She imagined her audience as people desperate to live like her, who wanted even the smallest piece of her world. In her vision, a teenage girl would spend $9 on a jar of jam, then proudly set the empty jar on her desk to hold pencils, whispering, "Now I'm just like Meghan." The picture was so ridiculous it could have been a South Park skit. The classmates would laugh, Cartman would fall off his chair, and Butters would innocently ask, "Why buy $9 jam when your mom can get it for $3?" That's...
Hey, can you two fucking keep it down?
Hey, you ever heard of a thing called privacy?
Yeah, nobody gives a shit. Will you two just shut up and go away?
That's Meghan's biggest problem. She believes too much in her own star power and ignores the reality of the market. She loves to call herself a businesswoman and insists that, "This brand is my baby, I make all the decisions." But that's the issue. She brushes off expert advice, ignores criticism, and insists on doing everything her way. That's why experts labeled her a prentrepreneur, someone playing at business without delivering results. Her projects don't just flop quietly, they turn into punchlines. Her Netflix show was supposed to be a clever way to promote her brand. Instead, Netflix didn't even bother tying it in because they realized it wasn't worth it. And every flop adds fuel to the fire. The more she fails, the more Harry quietly steps back, trying to keep his own image separate.
We want privacy! We want privacy! We want privacy! We want...
South Park has already turned these patterns into comedy gold. In the famous Worldwide Privacy Tour episode, Meghan and Harry were mocked as fame-hungry hypocrites. They shouted about wanting privacy while chasing cameras, showing up everywhere with banners demanding attention. Meghan was drawn as a caricature obsessed with spotlight, while Harry looked like a clueless sidekick. In another skit, their Oprah interview was exaggerated into a melodramatic sob fest, poking fun at Meghan's carefully staged emotions. Even Meghan's red carpet appearances were turned into satire, with giant sunglasses and over-the-top waving as she demanded to be left alone while staying in front of cameras. So when this real-life charity event clip surfaced, it felt like another episode had already written itself. Meghan reaching for the mic, Harry ignoring her. The silent tension, it was pure cartoon material. The irony is that South Park doesn't even need to exaggerate much anymore. The couple's real behavior already looks like parody.
And you know what else? To hell with Canada! We are leaving! We'll go find some quiet place where we can be normal people! Come on, wife! We want privacy! We want privacy!
That's what makes this moment so powerful. It wasn't just about one night on stage. It was a reflection of where they are as a couple. Harry wants to reinvent himself as the serious prince who stands on his own. Meghan wants equal billing and the spotlight, but her projects keep flopping, dragging her down. Together, they look less like a power couple and more like two people pulling in different directions. And every time they try to prove otherwise, the cracks become more obvious. If South Park writers were in the room watching that clip, they probably wouldn't even need to add much. They'd just let the scene play out as it is, maybe throw in Randy Marsh sighing in the background, or Cartman shouting, "She's a Pinterest board with tear ducts." The comedy is already there. What's supposed to be polished and inspiring ends up looking awkward and fake, and the whole world gets a laugh out of it. So what does this mean for Harry and Meghan? Maybe it was just one bad night. Maybe Harry was nervous. Maybe Meghan misread the schedule. But when you put it in the context of everything else, the endless flops, the bad press, the constant need for attention, it's hard not to see it as a sign of where things are going. South Park has been mocking them for years, but now, without even trying, they're proving the cartoon right.